And student performance, Glenn, has a lot to do with everything in a student's life. And you talked to me about 10,000 kids being behind in third grade reading. Well, do you remember the double homicide about a month ago where the two people were shot in the apartment? There were 5 kids in that apartment. And where do you think those kids go? Those kids go to public schools. And so, we need to take that into consideration when we try and compare what public school outcomes are compared to other schools. I think we need to take those things into consideration. And that's really the great thing about this effort is we're finding that out. I mean, we're finding out ways that are outside of the 4 walls of the classroom and things that not only are affecting education, but affecting the business community. Affordable housing. 25% of the kids in the Anchorage School District move at least once during every school year. And you know what? That's affordable housing. And that's not an Anchorage School District problem. That's not an Anchorage School Board responsibility. What that is that's a Chamber of Commerce responsibility. And that's the Anchorage Economic Development Corporation's responsibility. And we're the ones that look at that and say, okay, not only does that impact education outcomes, that impacts the graduates that live and work and stay here. So, it's all a cycle.
Yeah, I got a question for you on affordable housing. The Kinnick Bridge, to my mind, is the best way to make housing more affordable, basically out of land here, and have had an escalation of 100% increase in the cost of housing over the last 14 years. You for or against the Kinnick Bridge?
Well, I think it's pretty clear. At $50 a barrel oil, you're not affording a $2 billion bridge. And I think the better alternative has always been to look at areas like East Downtown and Fairview and Mountain View, which are the exact same areas where millennials want to live. And you got 82,000 millennials in this city between the ages of 18 and 34 who are working and living here. And, what we need to do is we need to start to build this city for the next generation, not our generation.
So tear down, and then build.
Tear down. No, redevelop. Yes, redevelop. And
it's kind of expensive too. I mean, to tear down a house and then rebuild another house on top of it.
Well, and that's where the city needs to get aggressive with the tax deferrals and tax incentives. For instance, when I was in the legislature, my bill that was passed allowed municipalities to give a tax break to dilapidated properties. And my bill is the reason why the McKay building was renovated and put on the property tax rolls. It generates property tax revenue that helps you and I. And the city needs to get more aggressive because Anchorage is the 21st most expensive city in the country. And building and constructing anything in this city is very expensive.
Oh, yeah. No doubt about it. Hey, I got a question for you. What's the longest union contract that you will sign with any of the union?
I think you need to keep them at 2 or 3 years. I think you need to keep them at short term to be flexible. And if rules are changed, I think you need to give time, a short period of time to let things see if things settle. Glenn, I grew up growing a very successful small business, and flexibility and the ability to make choices and turn on a dime is key. And when you're getting into an era of $50 barrel oil, I mean, you and I have had these conversations for 15 years. I mean, you got to be careful.
I totally agree. What do you think the outcome of current budget negotiations? How do you think the governor is going to do? What are you expecting out of him?
I think that they are. And I've been thinking about this a lot. I think what they're going to do is really nibble around the edges this year. They'll nibble around the edges next year because it'll be election year. I really personally believe it's going to be 2 or 3 years before they really realize they're going to have to either make massive cuts, which they're simply not going to be able to do, or they're going to start talking about broad-based taxes. I mean, I was there, and you only have so long to tread water.
If they did make more extensive cuts, it might make the amount of taxation at least a little more palatable.
Yes, that's true. But, you know the old saying that those costs go somewhere. I mean, those needs don't go away.
Well, they might, actually. I mean, people may not be able to stay up here if welfare just wasn't as expansive. We wouldn't be able to keep as many people up here on it.
Sure, but you're not just talking about those people, Glenn. You're talking about people who plow roads because the state maintains a significant amount of the transportation infrastructure here in Anchorage. I mean, you're talking about state troopers. You're talking about people that deliver all state services. So, look, I don't disagree with you, but you have to be realistic. I mean, remember that 5-year plan? I mean, I remember how it was when I was down there. They're not cutting $3 billion out of that budget.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's going to take a monumental effort, no doubt about it. Some closing thoughts from you, Andrew Halcrow, here running for mayor of Anchorage on the Glen Biegel Show. Any closing thoughts?
Oh, sorry, Glenn. I thought you were signing off.
No, I wasn't.
Yeah,
sorry. Fault. I'm my bad.
No, I appreciate the time. Look, listeners, the next 5 weeks, pay close attention. The race is going to start to heat up. And there's a lot of key issues. Public safety is one. How are you going to address the chronic inebriate problem? But more importantly, how are we going to grow the economy? There's no question we're going to get less support from the state. And we're going to have to grow the economy and really think about new ways how we move forward. So, Glenn, thanks a lot for this time. This has been great, and I'll call in anytime.
Oh, I appreciate that. Thank you very much.
You bet.
That's Andrew Halcrow, mayoral candidate. Love to hear from you if you have any thoughts on it. I think Andrew's got a pretty good handle on how difficult the situation in Juneau really is. And, while we have a somewhat different legislature now than we had back then, you just how lonely, how dark, how hard this process is going to get, because every single dollar that you're handing out from government has a constituency, and some of them are enormously powerful in addition to being very needy and having an obvious good a good desire there, I guess, for society. You're listening to the Glen Biegel Show, 28 minutes after the hour. 27 minutes before the hour. It is the Payless Stay on the Road show. Stay on the Road show. The Glen Biegel program. And I'd love to hear from you. 569-1080 is the number here in town. 357-5868. If you are out in the valley and just had mayoral candidate Andrew Halcrow on the program, and he and I have had debates and discussions over time, but I love the fact people come on. I give people a lot of credit. It's very rare when we go out of our comfort zone and talk to people who we don't necessarily agree with all the time. And one thing that you have to realize, Andrew Halcrow, while he may disagree with me totally on public education and the need to have a public sector monopoly run education, he's got this vast array of experience in business, in the Chamber of Commerce. I mean, it's quite impressive in the legislature. And so I appreciate him for coming on, and I hope you got something out of the discussion. The time 26 minutes before the hour. Voter registration deadline. Do you know when this is, Bonnie?
Sunday.
That's
right?
because I
this
just
Sunday.
told you.
No, I knew.
No, who would know that? I mean, that's the thing.
It's very random.
We're coming up fast on this election. People just, it doesn't even occur to them that you have to get out there and get registered to vote. Okay, so let's cover the people who need to be plugged in. Anybody who who's showed up here within the last 4 or 5 years, 90% of them are not registered to vote. Okay? The last 4 or 5 years. I'm not talking this year, the last 4 or 5 months. Most people, when they come to a new state, they don't register because they're registered in the old state. You can't be registered in 2 places, and it takes time to work all that stuff out. Help them out. You got to send them to, let's see, there's a couple of different ways to get there. 243-VOTE. muni.org/elections, and registration applications can be found on the state website. Alaska Dispatch News and Devin Kelly's piece covers this today. All right, so that's the first group of people. In the last 4 or 5 years, also known as a newcomer.
Unless Charlotte Green signed you up to vote.
Okay.
Then you don't have to go vote.
Yeah, Charlotte Green. Look, I want you to go vote. There's a very famous and very important lesson to be learned. Number one, if you were not brought up and bought off by the left, you are gonna vote conservative. I can almost guarantee it. Right? And if some left-wing organization is not giving you a paycheck, I don't think people who get welfare, by the way, should be allowed to vote.
Yikes.
Is that a little yikesy?
That's a little bit.
If you're a government employee, I don't think you should be allowed to vote.
What?
I mean, honestly, you can't continue to elect people whose job it is to give you a paycheck.
Yes, you're saying that they're voting themselves funds from the Treasury.
Yeah, and that's just, look, there's just too much. And our minds work this way. We self-justify. We're trying to figure it all out. And I'm not saying that it's the perfect solution to everything, but frankly, we just have to realize that the bringing together of your paycheck and your boss, who you're going to elect, that's just too much room for corruption. I realize I've just made probably a lot of people mad. I don't think that'll ever happen because there are too many other things that go wrong with it, right? There's too many areas where it gets a little confusing. Well, what about if you're a member of the military? Obviously, I want people who are members of the military to vote.
I think we have to go to the root of the problem and just get rid of unions, public sector unions.
Well, even FDR said he would never support public sector unions. You can't have a group of people who get paid by the government help elect the next person to give him a check. He knew that. I mean, it's not that hard to figure out. It is tough, though. I will tell you, they are very, very strong. It was really bad news, and I know Andrew Halcrow puts on a tough face, but the Anchorage Teachers Union, 3,500 strong, millions of dollars that they could pump into this campaign if they wanted to. They co-endorsed Berkowitz and Halcrow. And obviously, they couldn't find anything at fault with either candidate. And that should tell you approximately where their politics are. Probably tells you a lot about how they're going to vote.
And in this race in particular, I'm really tired of people saying, well, I'm going to vote for the person who I think can, because
this is a primary. Vote for who you want.
Yes.
Why would you couch this one? That doesn't make any sense.
Well, and vote for who you want, but vote for the most conservative candidate. We are not going to get anywhere unless people start voting for the most conservative candidate.
Well, I hope so. Now, the difficulty here is both Bonnie and I have supported Amy Dunbosky, so that...
Yeah, but I'm that way with every single...
That calls into question everything.
We can have our opinions.
Well, the difficult part for us, it's not normal for people who are on the air to actually...
What, your opinion can stop at the microphone?
Well, the difficult part for me is there are just not a lot of people who are participating on the conservative side. If you're a businessman and you want something from government, yeah, I get it. You participate. You give money. You're expecting a payoff. These are people who you've worked with. And yes, you're going to give, a donation in order to get them into office as a payoff for things they did for you in the past, or they're going to do for you in the future. I'm a conservative, doggone it. And I look around there. Do I have more money than other conservatives who are always telling me, oh, gosh, I want to give, but I just can't give? I don't. You think I've got more money than you? You're crazy. You've lost your mind. I participate because that's what we're called to do. Because decent people, responsible people who want to be subjects, they get off their rear end and they go out and support people. So
and it's not like we're saying nobody else can come and be on the air. We've given Andy Halcrow, Dan Coffey. I thought you've been amazingly fair with these.
Okay, but that's
candidates.
Because we work together, so you obviously would think that. Everybody's got to understand.
No, I'm being very honest here. I think.
Well, we have everybody on the air. I think Paul Bauer said that he wouldn't come on the air because I had participated in a fundraiser for Amy. That's fine. I think it would have been a much more powerful thing for him to make while we were on the air, waiting for some kind of a gotcha question.
Right.
Aha!
Right.
Right there, Mr. Biegel.
Or a didn't he say staged calls?
Yeah, staged calls.
Like I have time to ask people to call in and.
My name is Sally, and I have a question for Paul Bauer. Paul, obviously, he's.
He's going to have to be ready for that anyway.
Would have been great because he could have said, you know what, I wrote this piece waiting to come on the air with you, and I just wanted to put it right under your nose because I know that was the stage call.
He's still welcome to come. We'd love to have him on.
Yeah. I love the idea here that people, and I'm wondering what you think about this. This is the Glen Biegel Show, 19 minutes before the hour. Do you think that the reticence of the Democrats to support Hillary is genuine?
Are you asking me?
I'm just asking people in general. I'm looking at you, but I do that normally. I'm just asking people in general. 569-1080, 357-5868. Do you think, and I'm going to ask you actually here in just a second, do you think that the reluctance, is reluctance or reticence the same thing?
I like reluctance.
Yeah, because reticence nobody uses. I was looking for reluctance.
Renaissance.
I was searching around in the ether, and out of the mouth popped somewhere that people, probably 2% of people in the world have ever used.
It's a Glen Biegel word, so
Woo!
Use reluctance for the rest of us.
Thank you. Anyway, the reluctance, do you consider it to be genuine? Or do people get up and they look at their little idol of Hillary Clinton and they worship it and they say, I can't wait. You're going to show all those men and your rotten, ridiculous hound of a husband exactly who's boss when you get in there, Hillary Clinton. And I know you're just going to do great things. You're going to continue Obama's legacy. I don't know. What do you think? 357-5868, 569-1080. Are we going to give away another $50 gas card, Payless Car Sales? If you're looking for a new car, anybody out there looking for any kind of car, you don't have to agree to buy one from Ollie. You're just going to go down there, take a look at what he's got, talk to him and his sales staff. But on behalf of Payless Car Sales, we're giving away a $50 gas card. And as soon as the music starts, 47 seconds after the music starts, then you can call, and we're going to take first caller, so you got to be right on the ball. Let me go to Al. Al, welcome to the Glen Biegel Show.
Hey, my friend, how's it going?
It is going well. I'm actually enjoying today, and I thought Andrew Halcrow, while he sounded a little nervous, I thought he did a pretty good job.
I thought he did a great job, and you know, I like Andrew. There's a lot of good things to like about him. There's some things, you know, I mean, every candidate's got things that you like about him and things that you really wish that they'd reconsider.
You sound like Andrew Halcrow, by the way. Are you Andrew Halcrow?
No, absolutely not. No, no, I'm not.
No,
I
continue.
do have a great prediction for you about this election that I think will make you and all of your listeners very, very happy. And I can say with absolute certainty that I predict there is 0% chance that Mark Begich will be elected in this election.
Hey, how about have some kind of fanfare for that prediction? And that's a bold prediction since he can't possibly get in. He does seem to find a way, though, by the way.
Well, that's true. Yeah, there could be some kind of a ballot proposition that could be put forth at the 11th hour and made retroactive or something like that. You just never know.
The question is, will we have Mark Begich Part 2 and Ethan Berkowitz?
Ooh,
you know,
there's not a time. Come on, Al, give me the straight shot here.
I think that there is. I think that there's. I really do. I think there's a big difference between Marky B and Ethan Berkowitz. Excuse me. I think that Begich was a born politician. Berkowitz is definitely a born politician as well. Berkowitz is a definite academic. He's an intelligent guy, and Begich is a political opportunist.
He's a wily, like a wily coyote. He's like that wily.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, that's a difference. Do you think there's any difference in their positions on anything?
I think one thing I will say about Ethan is that I like. He asked the question, "How are we going to pay for this?" That doesn't necessarily mean that he finds the answer for that question, but he likes to ask that question, and that at least means that he's thinking about that, and so there may be a mustard seed sized amount of conservatism in him.
I like it. What he really means, by the way, I'll translate for you. He means, "How are you going to pay for this?"
Exactly.
Hey, Al, great call.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely fantastic. Appreciate that. It is 14 minutes before the hour, and now is the time to call. Give us a call. If you are looking for a car, I've got a $50 gas card for you. The first caller will take you right now. 569-1080-5868 on behalf of Payless Car Sales. Stay tuned. 11 minutes before the hour. 569-1080 is the number, and also 357-5868. This is your drive home, the Glen Biegel Show. And make sure to tune into Tom Anderson. He is quite a character, a great way to start your day, 6 to 9 a.m. Joe Miller is on just before me. And a lot of people probably, and if you know friends who have listened and watched Joe Miller grow in his public presentation, I tell you, you can't distinguish him from a national talk show host. He's just that good. I mean, it's very, very smooth. It's got nationally known folks on it. Talks about a lot of local issues as well. So definitely tune into him. You can stream us. We stream live at 1080koan.com and also 1020kvnt.com. That's just too much information at some point. I saw this story and I think I may have to scream. This may drive me crazy. The country is in need of jobs like nobody's business. The state's in need of jobs. And we got 54,000 jobs on the line in one project. This is out in the Chukchi and the Beaufort Seas. And so I think it was back in 2007 when we first offered these areas for leases. Okay, they sold in 2008. I think the lease sale was started in 2007. And so we sold these leases, and here it is. What is it? 2015 now. 7 years later. Do you know that these leases are going to start expiring because this horrible company named Shell that invested billions of dollars in the leases, then billions of dollars to try and find out what the ecology of the area was, then billions of dollars going to court. Then they got horrible press trying to haul up the Cullig rig and all that kind of stuff. And here, their leases are about to expire. I don't even know why some sane person would expend money in the state of Alaska. You'd have to be crazy. There has to be something wrong. I don't get it. Folks, we're on a very short time frame to try and get our act together. This is what it's called not having your act together. You can't lease somebody, then sue the pants off of them, then sue their shirt off, then sue them into the ground. You can't do that and then say, oh, by the way, since you haven't produced oil in the leases, we're going to have to take those back. Now what they're doing, listen to the goofiness, the silliness of these. The company's bids for suspension of operation would effectively stop the clock ticking on their 10-year 10-year leases. The Bureau of Safety and Environmental Enforcement, that doesn't scare you, BSEE. The BSEE is considering a request from Shell and Statoil filed in July 2014. It previously rejected ConocoPhillips' November 2013 bid for at least 3 more years. They're killing us, folks. They're killing us. Bob won the $50 gas card, by the way. Is that correct, Bonnie?
Yes, Bob.
Congratulations, Bob. Well done. Keeping you on the road. That's our goal here for today. It's Thursday, by the way. Made it all the way through the week. Jeff King, we were trying to think of who the person was who got right to the end of the Iditarod last time, and the Iditarod starts. You can go out to Iditarod.com in order to find out more about the race. 1 day, 16 hours, and 5 minutes away. I love the Iditarod. I am glued to my computer as it happens. Unfortunately for me, due to a very strange mental condition that I have, as soon as the Iditarod is over, or about 2 or 3 weeks thereafter, I will forget who won and all the rest of the interesting details. I will remember, though, that I loved watching all those dots march up the Iditarod Trail, which I'm going to do again. I'm going to become, what's the highest level of membership? A gold member?
Probably.
Platinum? I don't know. I want to have the visuals of this thing, and we're going to have good coverage here on the program. There's going to be somebody who is out on the trail, and she's going to be reporting back to us and giving us daily updates.
Really? I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah. No, KOAN is doing everything they can in
so
order to get,
fun.
oh, it's going to be fantastic. Or told me all about that. No, I think I may have got freaked out a little bit before, and I think somebody here in the studio actually has probably seen soup that looks like this, looking down the hallways, and I glanced briefly, and I glanced back to look at their stew, or I'm not sure exactly what you want to call it. I was pretty sure that I saw a tentacle, a tail, and then I thought I saw an eyeball, and I'm thinking, no. You people don't eat these kinds of things. And so, as it turned out, luckily enough, and I did ask him if he was eating eyeball stew. He said he wasn't. And I was mistaken on each and everything.
But it was still something healthy.
No, actually, it was very good. I think that he just had some strange spoon that sort of gave me the indication that he was eating something.
That was an interesting spoon. It was a wooden spoon, but it was about 3 inches long.
I couldn't place it. And your eye, they say that like 50% of the things that you think, your brain is just making up for you so that the world makes sense to it. You know, that see, you know, like people winking at you. Mm-hmm. They're not actually winking at you. Okay, that never happened.
I do that sometimes without meaning to, by the way. So don't take it personally if I wink at you.
I met some lady here yesterday, and she winked at me through station. I mean, what am I supposed to make of that?
Was it code or?
No, I don't think so. It was just a familiarity, you know. It was something she did to try and put people at ease.
Yeah.
And I think what the odd thing was, I enjoyed the conversation. We were talking about something about Don Young and the federal people in federal office. But I think the conversation got extended a couple of times. And you know how we just have mannerisms that we just use. And so it ended up being the wink. The first one was like, oh, that was very nice. The second one was like, all right, what's going on here? And the third one, hello. Come on.
That's why I'm trying to stop winking. I don't impression.
Oh yeah. No, that's fun. You should give people the wrong impression as often as you can. See what happens. Hey folks, it's been a great pleasure to be with you. And I think tomorrow we're going to have Anna McKinnon and Senator Giesel on to try and lay out for us exactly where the governor is trying to get us and what kind of objections the legislature has about that. Should be a pretty big and pretty important presentation. I'm looking forward to it. God bless you. Have a great Thursday. I'm off to learn about the sin of sloth and the virtue of zeal. That's where I'm headed to tonight. It's going to be fun. Take care, folks.